What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight for more lake breakdowns. That's right, we are still on Lake Eufaula. We're working on the southern section. I thought maybe we could get this done in one video, but it looks like we're going to have to do two more at least on the Eufaula South section. Then we switched over to the offshore stuff. If you guys are enjoying this lake breakdown series, I know you're going to like this one. Let's go ahead and continue on what we're talking about. Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma, southern section. Let's go. Welcome back to the Lake Eufaula breakdown. If you missed the first couple videos, actually we think we've done like 5 or 6 videos on Lake Eufaula now. Make sure to go out and check out our lake breakdown playlist. It lists all the lake breakdowns that we've done. We've done several different lakes in Texas, Oklahoma, pretty much all over the United States now, but go check them out. We've got all the Lake Eufaula breakdowns out there that we've done so far. So what we've covered up to this point, if you look over here on the left-hand side, we've got Eufaula broken down into 3 different sections. We've got Eufaula East, Eufaula Northwest of Highway 69. So that's going to be anything north and west of Highway 69. So that's going to be this section. And then we also have what we call Eufaula South, and that's really going to be anything east and south of Highway 9. So we had Highway 9 south and Highway 69 east of Highway 69. So that's really where we're at on our lake breakdown series today. Is we are still on the southern section of Lake Eufaula. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here at this bridge. This is where we started last time. So we're going to start there. We'll work our way south. We're going to go down and talk about all of this stuff here. Hopefully make it all the way back up. If we're lucky, we'll make it all the way back up to the top. I don't know if we can make it that far, but if we can, we will. If not, we'll break this into 2 more videos, and then that should wrap us up for the Lake Eufaula breakdown for the Google Earth side. Then it's going to be time to switch over, use the Navionics mobile app for the boating side, use that to show the contours of this lake and really start to talk to you guys about the different offshore hotspots that are out there. So before we get into the lake, let's talk real quick about how we have this thing broken down. Several different bridges and culverts that are out there. You'll see all those out here. If I uncheck these, you'll see how they're all been marked. Those are all based on what we were found from Navionics and other contour mapping tools that we use that show where old bridges, culverts, and stuff like that are. So definitely things to check out. Good fish attracting areas. We've also got brush piles. So we were able to go out to the Oklahoma State Fisheries page and get the marked brush piles that they have out there. Not really brush piles, but fish attractors. Some of them could be brush piles. Some of them could be PVC attractors. These are really good for the crappie fishermen, but also really good areas to find bass. The bass love to eat the crappie, and these are great places to find them. And you can see here in the southern section, there are a lot of fish attractors for you to be able to fish around. So definitely something to look into. We've also got channels and ponds. There aren't a ton of channels on this southern section that we were really able to mark for you. There are a couple different channels that we were able to see, so we went ahead and marked those. Those are going to be these green tracks. And then the waves that you see, those are actually old ponds. And so if you've ever watched any of my lake breakdown videos, I talk a lot about in the summertime finding these pond dams and fishing around these pond dams. That can be very, very effective here in northern Texas and southern Oklahoma. So definitely good places to go look to find some fish in the summer. We've also got several different offshore hotspots, which I talked to you about. We'll come back on a totally different video series, and we're going to talk about the offshore hotspots for Lake Eufaula. We'll use the Navionics mobile app for that. Then we've got tons of different ramps and slabs that are out there. We've got quite a few that you can see that are out here. These are just old ramps or old slabs, could be new slabs, could be public boat ramps, but these are great places to find fish in the springtime, especially if you're in a lake like Eufaula where maybe you don't have a ton of rock. It's more sandy, kind of muddy type bottom. These ramps are some of the hard surfaces that are around them, and they will definitely attract them, especially when the bluegill spawn starts. Then we've also got rocks, so several different places where we're able to locate rock on Lake Eufaula. You can see it here. These may be special rock formations, little rock piles, whatever it was we were able to find by using Google Earth and pulling the water down. And then last but not least, we have all kinds of different structure and cover that's out there, whether it be man-made structure or structures such as humps and things like that. We've also got tons of house foundations, laydowns, all kinds of good stuff to go through. So with that huge long introduction, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. I'm going to go ahead and come up here to the view, and I'm going to hide that sidebar so we can get a full screen here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the timeline and then draw this back to 2017. I believe that's going to give us our best image. I think it's 2017, but we're going to pull in here and we're going to see which one it gives us, because it just really depends on the day when you're out here messing with Google Earth. So here we are in 2017. You can definitely see that there is an old house foundation here. Let's see what the water would look like today in 2021. It's actually gives me about the same image. So doesn't give me a 2023 image. So 2021 might actually be the best one. Let's go down and let's just see. 2012 is actually looking pretty good. 2011. It's looking like we're going to roll with 2011 today, because that seems to give us the best image. 2021, this foundation's definitely out of the water, but 2011's pulled down even further. So there is one of the house foundations. I think we talked about that on the last video. Then we've also got all of these brush piles or fish attractors that are lined up across this bridge. So you definitely want to go check those out. And then as you're coming down through here, I forgot to take off the offshore stuff. So let me take off the offshore stuff so we don't get confused here. And I'm going to go ahead and hide that again. And what we're going to do is just leave that out here. So now we can see there's some houses out here, some bridges you can go check out. This could be an old pond dam right here as well. It's kind of hard to tell if that's just the image messing with me or if that's just maybe the flow of the water pressing up against there because of the waves and it's making it look like something's there. So we didn't mark anything there, but definitely a possibility. And then as you come down south from that bridge, we didn't mark it, and this could be an offshore spot. I don't know, but these points that come out that get flat on top, that come pretty far out, these can definitely come into play in several different times of the year. But the best time of year, at least for me, when you get these shallow, flat top points that come way out into the lake, that's a fall time thing and definitely a place where you can find some fish. So you want to check these out. Even though they look like they don't have anything on them, there's no brush, there's no rock, there's really absolutely nothing on them. The only thing that's good about them is that they have a high spot on them. Where basically shell and stuff like that can collect. So definitely a good spot to go look for. Now, as we come down here, there's a hump out here. We're going to talk about that stuff on the mobile side. And what we're doing is we came just down off that highway, and now we're tucking into this first cove. Let's see what we can find in here. So as we get out here, another one of those big long points, right, that I was telling you about. Those can be really good areas to look at during the fall. And if you zoom into this one, there's actually an old foundation that's right here. We did not mark it. In fact, I didn't see it until just now. But there's an old house foundation that's right there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make that our house. And so that way you guys have that next time when you go out there. So that's about the only thing I see off this point. But anyways, these points can be really good. Let's keep moving in. Here's the old pond. So here's the pond that we marked. There's your pond dam. And I've talked about it a lot. Fishing the outside of the pond dam can be good. Just fishing across the pond dam can be good. But for me, I have no idea why, but the fish like to get on the inside of that pond dam, just right up on the inside, or they'll get up here and feed and tap right back down into the inside. So I like that area right in there. I've also got a culvert that's out here in the middle. And then as we move further up here, again, you have some pretty decent little points out here, but not a lot of cover on these points, right? You maybe see a little bit of a couple bushes and things like that, but nothing spectacular that really gets you excited. You do have a nice little creek channel that comes through here, so you can check this out and see where these two little points come, where the old roadbed is. There could be some debris in here or stuff like that I can't see. So always fishing those little pinch points. This can be really good spots to find some fish. So you want to go check that out. You have a little mini hump that's right here, another one that's right here. Just these little things that are just very subtle changes in what you see here. That can really be a key place for those fish to attract to. It's things that sometimes you don't really see unless you're really paying attention to what's going on. Those two humps can be great places. That creek channel, that pinch point, all those areas are really good, high percentage areas. You've also got another pond that's over here, so you can check that out. Another one of these big old points that come out as well. I'm not saying there's going to be fish on every one of them, but they're definitely worth scanning. Some culverts that are out here, some old house foundations you could scan around for. Another good hump that's here. Got another culvert that's back here. There's really not much to these. They're just like little concrete blocks. But then finally, when you get here, one thing I really want to point out right here is notice how the land changes. It basically goes from brown, kind of that sandy dirt that we have around here, to gray, meaning probably more than likely some type of a hard spot there. And you also have a major transition area that's going on right in here as well. But right here, you got some really good rock. And again, a really good transition area right there. As you move on down, you've got more culverts that are out here. These culverts are all over the place in this lake. You can see one right here. This is actually an old culvert that's exposed right here, so you can see it. A little bit of rock and stuff around it. That could be an interesting little place to fish in the springtime, just these little pockets like this. Moving on down, obviously this is all pretty hard. I can't tell what kind of rock it is, or if it's really worthy of fishing rock, but it looks decent rock. I mean, you can see the different colors. You could fish all this rock in here, but here off the point, you can see it gets a little bit thicker. So I've really marked it right there for you guys as well. I think that point looks like it could be pretty productive. So let's pull back and kind of show you guys where I'm at. We went south of that bridge, right? Went through that little pocket, and now we're right down here. So let's keep moving down. You've got a bridge that's over here. You've got more rock that's coming all along this bank line. These spots that you see are where the rock really gets pretty heavy. So you get into some thicker, rockier areas right in here, right in here. You got another culvert that's out there too. Moving down, you've got bridges, more culverts. So just a lot of stuff kind of scattered throughout here. And then when we get down this bank line, we really start running into a lot of different things that you could fish around. So here you can see I'm just across from this Juniper Point. So if I come right across from there, that's where I'm at. And of course, ironically, that place is called The Point. But we come out here, we've got some laydowns that are over here. That's going to look different when I move the image up. Got some more laydowns here. These are all really shallow type stuff. If I move this up, you'll start to see the laydowns eventually, hopefully. If I can get them there, some flooded. It's just all over the place. I can't find the exact year for you, but you can check those out. Again, some shallow fishing, but old ponds there as well. I like this spot right in here. Where this rock is right here. You got a transition area going on here. Something strange kind of transition going on right in there as well. Again, another area where it shows some laydowns. So we'll have to check those out. Those might actually be there now. This is back in 2011. So we found them on some year. This was a tricky lake because on Google Earth, sometimes you could move it down to a year and sometimes you couldn't. So depending on what year it was, depending on what we found, so you definitely want to check in there and check these spots where it shows laydowns and just see if those exist there still. We've also got some rock that's out here off this point. This looks good. Little isolated point with some really good rock that they could really set up on. So these are going to be good places. This is another place, a little isolated point with that rock again. You got more of it out here, this kind of this hard area right in here. This looks like it could potentially even be like an old roadbed possibly. So if we follow this out, we may find something over in this area or something like that that tells us that there's a roadbed over there. Now, as we move on down, we get down through here. We've got some really good hard spot off the edge of this bank line. Definitely a good area to go look at. Moved over here too. We got a good point. Let me back up and kind of show you. I'm coming down here and now I'm going up inside of this pocket that's here. Some really good rock off this point. I mean, that just looks like a primo area to go out, set up about 10 or 15 feet, 15 yards away from it, and basically chuck a shaky head up there, or chuck a wobble head up there, or chuck a crankbait up there and bang it off the rocks and probably just have a heyday. It's a perfect place for them to set up. We've also got a nice little pond dam that's back here you can check out. And then as we move further back into here, obviously you've got a little creek that comes back there. Not much of a channel. It's nothing really for us to mark. You have a boat ramp that's over here. And then these 2 points, both of them have rock on them. So if you look here, got a pretty decent little rock pile there and some really good rock here. And I didn't catch it the first time, but if you pull back right by that ramp, there's some pretty good rock right in there too. You can see it right here on the image. Pretty good little spot. All right, so let's keep moving down. I'm going to pull out of that pocket. We're going to come over here around the point. Let's just talk about what we found out here. So again, some really good rock, right? Some real good hard spots off these points. Really good rocky spots. This is a great looking spot. Look how chunky that rock looks and how kind of isolated it is. You know what I mean? It's got nothing over here, and then boom, rock right in that area. And ironically, there just happens to be a boat on it. There's a culvert that's out here you could check out. Moving up here, you have some random spots where you do have some rock that we could have marked, maybe like right in here, a little bit of isolated pile. Let's go ahead and mark that one. Again, we always interesting what we find the second time around. So we'll find stuff we missed the first time constantly. Could probably do that on every single one of these videos, but every time I find them, I at least try to mark them for you so we can just make these things even better. We've got a little bit more rock there. I don't think I'll mark that one, but that pile looks decent enough to be able to mark. But let's move down. So instead of coming down through this creek, we're going to move down here and just kind of talk about what's out here. Again, really, really good looking rock all along this whole bank line. So just pound that bank line. That's going to be a great bank line for you. Got a nice pond that's back there too. Then it kind of goes to blah. You don't find anything. There's an old bridges out here you could check out. I don't know if those would be worthy of fishing or not. But as you come back in these pockets, that's when you kind of get into just some really, limited type cover. So that should be some good areas for them to attract to because there's not a lot of other things in the area. So right here, another hard spot. You see a little rock there. As you move up here, you've got some standing timber back here. You could live scope around, do some stuff like that, fish around those. Another hard spot that's right here. And if you look here, you can tell there's a creek that's coming back through here. You just can't see where the actual channel is. You can see some of this, but notice it's got to come here and it's got to hit this bank line. That's what's washing that out. So that's a creek channel swing. So that could be good as well. And it looks like it may actually bounce over this way and hit this bank line before it bounces back over here. So you've got 3 good spots, 1, 2, 3, all right in this area back in here. We've got some fresh water that's coming in from that creek, hopefully. So a good spot to look at. Now let's move on down. We've got some more rock along these bank lines, some debris and stuff to check out. Again, more rock all along that. This little spot right here, not to say that this rock wouldn't be good. I definitely run a crankbait and just run down that thing. But again, this is a little bit more isolated, right? So this is probably going to be more of a higher percentage area than those spots that we talked about here. Now, those are going to be good, and you're definitely probably going to be able to find some fish relating to those hard spots. But if you're wanting to look at like the higher percentage spot of all of those, it's going to be this one. And it's just like what we talk about in a lot of the different breakdowns, but you want to find, just like we do, if we're looking in a neighborhood, let's say that we're city people. So I'm going to relate back to like a suburb, right? So we live in the suburbs. And when you live in the suburb, you go to the neighborhood, and what's the house that you want? You want the nicest house, right? The one with the biggest lot, the one that sets the highest atop the hill, the one that's a little bit more alone, that's a little bit more unique. Fish are the same exact way. So yes, there's a lot of rock here, so there could definitely be some fish here, but your bigger ones are probably going to take the best spot, right? The spot that looks the best, the spot they can hide on both sides and ambush bait, and that's going to be right here off this point. All right, so long explanation. Let's keep going. Got some more rock that's out here. You can see all of this different rock that's through here. Got another hump that's over there as well. And then we're going to swing down. We're going to get close to Highway 31 down here. Swing down around these points. Not too much going on here. Just kind of some blah bank line. But you do have an old bridge that's right here as well as some rocks. So this could be, if there's a bridge there, there's potentially an old roadbed that's out here, things like that. We'll probably see more of it. We move over to Navionics Mobile, but definitely a good spot to go look into there. Got some more laydowns as we move our way up this bank line. There's a lot of different laydowns out there. We have a hump that's out here. Another hump that's over here too. Again, this stuff that's a little bit further offshore, we're definitely going to talk about that when we get over to the mobile side. We got some rock that's in here too. You can see this. This looks like a pretty decent little place. Don't fish way up shallow. Stay out just where that rock starts and just fish that little area just right in there where you see the little scattered rock. Then we move over here. We've got a nice little creek channel that comes through here, river channel, whatever you want to call it. But as we move down and we see where that river channel swings right here, you can see that we've got some really good rock that's going on right here off the edge of that. So creek channel swing, causing the rock, causing the erosion. Those are always good places to go look at. Move on down. We've got some more areas where we've got some isolated rock right in here. You can see the little piles. And then as we move further down and we get over here by Highway 31, this appears to be an old road or something, but we got some really good rock that's right in here. Got some additional rock in here as well. They put some fish attractors out here by these old bridges or culverts, whatever you want to call them. But this whole area right in here would be a really good place to go and just investigate, scan around, see what you can find. Be careful because this looks like a prop killer right here, but definitely a good spot to go look for some fish. Let's move on down and see what else is in here. We've got a little river coming through here as well. We've got an old bridge that's back there. Not too much for us to mark there. There's a little hump right there that you can check out. Just see if anything's relating to that. Then we also have a fish attractor here and an old house foundation that's right here as well. And then while you're back there by 31, make sure, obviously we talked about this area right in here, but make sure you're fishing the insides and the outsides of this little causeway that's right here. That's definitely going to be a good spot to look. Then moving down here, obviously lots of fish attractors down in this area. Got a little bit of rock that's down here too. Look at these fish attractors that are actually exposed. So you don't get to see that very often when the attractors are actually exposed. But you can see these. They're actually brush piles. They're not PVC attractors, but there are all your different brush piles. It looks like some of them have shifted a little bit, but those are the GPS coordinates that they gave us. Some of them are spot on. Some of them are just a little bit off. But that is crappie heaven right there. It could also be bass heaven as well. Moving on down, we got some more laydowns down in here. I don't think there's anything else for me to show you down there. So let's go back up and let's talk about right in here. So right in here, basically what you have is, it's just called rubble. It looks like maybe an old house foundation. Could be an old car maybe too as well. Couldn't really tell what it was, but definitely something to look at. But you do have this pond here. So you got the pretty decent little pond dam going back in there as well. Then as we move on up, we're not going to find too much as we go around the corner here. What we'll do is we'll dive down here, and we're probably going to stop right here at this bridge. I have no idea why I thought we could do this all in one video, but let's keep going and just see what else we can find tonight. As we get up here, right, we were on Highway 31. Now I'm just coming around the point here on the south side. There's just some pretty good rock that's right along this little point. You'll see it right here as I zoom in. There's a little bit right here, but there's some really good rock right in here. And it kind of goes all the way down. There's these little isolated piles, and that's where you see where we have it marked as rock. You got some pretty good little flat that's right here too. Pretty well protected. Really good looking area. Come springtime, definitely a good place to go look. Also in the fall when they start pushing that bait up into those pockets. You've got some pretty good rock back in here too. There's not a lot going on back here on this south side. It's not constant, but when you do find it, I think these are going to be really good places because there's not a lot for them to go be attracted to. So moving around this point here, we get down here, some really good rocky areas right here, here, and here. So those three spots there. You can even come off this point and probably find a little bit more here. This is a little bit heavier, a little bit lighter rock in here, but obviously good little points. Nice little pinch area too. Really like how that sets up. You got a pond that's back there. As we move on down, we've got some more house foundations that are out here. Another decent little flat that's back here, somewhat protected. So you can check that one out. Some bridges over here, ramps, more bridges. And then as we get back in here, again, out by Highway 31 again, but now we're on the south side, the very far south side. We get in here, and now we start getting into some places where we can actually probably locate some fish. We got some rock that's in here. So you can check out this bank line. It's got a little bit of rock on it. You've got some pretty good flats that are out here. Really good flats. You've even got something right in there, some kind of debris or something going on right in there. Hopefully it's still there. Do some scanning around, but fish these flats for sure. They look really good. Even up in here too, you could fish. And then moving over here, bridges, humps, house foundations that are out here too. You've got more bridges, tons of bridges, tons of house foundations, lots of rock that's back here too. In fact, probably should have marked this one too for you. It's maybe not like heavy rock, but you can tell it's a harder spot. So they're going to be attracted to this kind of stuff. So definitely this area right in here would be good to look at. Obviously the rock back in here, that's going to be a good spot. That riprap and stuff like that. And then moving down, we've got some humps, some bigger flats that are out here. This is a pretty decent little flat that's right in here too. And then a lot of stuff, from the bridges and stuff like that. So I've took off all the bridges you might not see as much, but scan around out here and see what you can find. There could be some pretty decent offshore stuff. It's out here. You got to see some laydowns, more culverts, some ramps and stuff like that. That's like an old slab that's out there right beside that dock. Here's some pretty decent little rock coming off this point. So maybe fish from that rock to that rock, or that waypoint to that waypoint where that rock is. That could be good spots. More rock in there as well. Rock, bridges, ledges, all kinds of stuff. Some more rock back in there. Some more ramps, humps, rocks, fish attractors. I mean, there's just goodness all over the place. Right in here, I mean, you might get high center trying to get the boat back in here, but if the water's up high enough, you got a little culvert that's right here too. You can see it. You could fish around that too. Just be careful coming over here because that looks awfully shallow. And then moving here, we've got some more rock. We're kind of getting way back into the center of the lake, but a little river system back here too you can check out as well. And then let's move on up. Let's go back up here. We see those bridges we talked about, those ramps. There's not a ton off of this side. So actually, let's go ahead and we're going to go on over to Highway 69 at least. So we'll at least finish these couple. We got a bridge that's out there. Didn't see a lot in this area. Just not a lot that really stuck out to me. A couple of these points, maybe like this point right in here, you can go check out, and maybe this point. Now, there's not rock on them, but they are a different color, so they could be a harder spot. In fact, that one may have rock, and it does. It just didn't look like it earlier, so we're going to mark that with rock. So that is going to be a good point to look at, and while we're doing it, I think we should go ahead and mark all three of these, because I think if you just went to that point, you might not realize that that rock actually extends all the way out here. So I'm going to go take a look at that. And then look at that. As I'm talking, I notice again, this looks like a rock pile here too. So now we just find a gold mine that was just right there in front of us that I just totally missed. And since I missed that one, I also missed this one. And so now there we go. We got like 5 different waypoints we can add in. So we will definitely talk about those. That looks like a good spot there. Not sure how we missed those. And then move it over here. Not too much back in here. Got a couple bridges back in here, some fish attractors. You could check out this point too. It looks like I must have just missed this whole waypoint right in here, but we've got a couple that are back in here that look pretty decent off here too. So we've got more rock right in here. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes I just somehow I miss it. I'm not sure how I did that, but I'm going to fix it right here. So that way you have it on your card. So we're going to put rock here as well. And just remember, when you come down here, to definitely look in this area right here. You've got some really good points with some really good rock. Those fish attractors, as we swing around here, looking off these points too, these could have some hard spots on them. That looks like it could be some rock there too. Looks like it gets really, really shallow. But maybe checking a look at that area too. Let's go ahead and mark that one too while we're at it. Then we're going to come up. We're going to go around this point, Juniper Point. Come down here. Don't see too much going on through here. We got another ramp that's right there. Some docks, at least, you could fish around. Then we get down here. We got some culverts, bridges, and a couple different humps that are down here. Other than that, there's not a ton to show you guys down here. It looks like it gets fairly shallow. Then we're going to get up here. Let's go ahead and finish right here at this Cardinal Point recreational area. So let's just talk about what's in here real quick. So again, you can see these bridges and these old roads that are here, the humps, some more bridges, another road bed that's coming right through here, a railroad. Now, if we pull the water up, which we haven't even done on this whole entire video, amazingly, we pulled up 2021, the stuff that you're like, duh, we can see it there. It's actually, a lot of this stuff is underwater. So all that rock we were talking about earlier, all of that stuff, most of it, the majority of it, except for some of those laydowns we talked about down that one area, this is all underwater stuff that we're able to see because we have basically have the water up. So there's your railroads and all that stuff that's up there too. But let's go back to Cardinal Point here, right where we were, where we saw that railroad. Pull that back to 2012, and now we can see exactly what we're talking about. So another house foundation there, and then moving up, we got another house foundation with a nice little fish attractor or brush pile that's out there off the edge of that point. And that takes us up to this Cardinal Point recreation area where I promise you we are going to stop tonight. We've got a little boat ramp that's there, another fish attractor that's back in here, and then a decent little creek channel that's back there too. So let's go ahead and stop there. And when I come back, we're going to hopefully finish up the southern side. We'll start there at Cardinal Recreational Area. We'll move our way up all the way back up till we get to Highway 9, and that should finish us up for Eufaula on the Google Earth side, and then we're going to move over, talk to you guys about that offshore stuff. Hey guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, please go out and check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We have all these waypoints plus the offshore stuff that we're getting ready to talk about. We take it all, we put it onto a card for you, and then we let you take that card, you put it into your graph, you import these in, they come in as waypoints on your graph. It will change the way you fish. It will allow you to break down the lake super, super quick and find stuff that you may not even know was out there anyway. So super cool tool to go check out. Great way to break down your lake. Go check it out, simplisticfishing.com. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.